All right, today is group project day 2. So that is what's happening today. Now, it's going to be kind of a light day. It's not going to be like I ask you a bunch of questions and you give me responses and we talk about the possibilities as much. Mostly I'll be having you fill out this group formation information sheet that has a schedule on the back where I'm going to have you fill out your schedule and then also information I'm asking you on the front. By the way, my suggestion is to fill out the schedule side first because people are screwing up on that side sometimes and they go, oh crap, I need a new one, but after they've already filled out all the front information. That really was terrible for somebody today. So just later, I would suggest filling this out first if I forget to say it again. I do want to show what that's like. I want to show it visually first before I hand it out to you because I noticed that when I hand it out to one class, and then I explained it, nobody listened to anything I said, and then asked me questions about what I'd already talked about. But if I show you first, then I hand it to you, then nobody's not listening to me. Or, I mean, you're just not listening to me, but it's not like because of something else I've given you to do. I feel like I was going to say something about essays first, but I can't remember what it was. Well, one, I anticipate being done around Saturday noonish. No, not noonish, like 2, 3, 4-ish with y'all's essay ones. But as a result, after that, we'll move on to the 1302s, and I do not anticipate being done with the 1302 papers like before Sunday. I mean, it's like I like 6 more hours to grade them. So what I think is going to happen is I probably won't even start grading any of the essay 2s until Sunday. So what I'm going to do with that is technically today's due date is today. Technically, today is the due date for essay 2.
Was that a sound?
It was some kind of bird. I can't remember what kind of bird it is. No, it was me. Today is technically the due date for the second essay. In fact, I think every group project day we have will be a due date for an essay. However, because I won't be grading till Sunday in any shape or fashion, there's no possibility I will be grading essay 2s before Sunday. And it probably would be easier for a lot of people to get their stuff done over the weekend instead of having to force it in tonight. So what I'm going to do is you can turn it in on Sunday. That's the new due date for this essay.
What?
Thank you.
Because I haven't
Wait, I have more to say. Also, with that, though, people immediately ask the question, hold up, bro, achievements. How is that going to affect that? I'm moving what I consider to be the due date of the essay, so that will not negatively affect your ability to get achievements. So as long as you get in by Sunday night, then you can reasonably expect to keep that achievement. Now, if it's, Tuesday, you're like, well, Nichols, you said you was the due date. I was like, yeah, but you're still nowhere near that. So what are you thinking? So just keep that in mind. It's not going to negatively affect achievements, and you can get it done by Sunday. It's hilarious. Like, y'all are all like, yes, thank you, awesome. But if I had said we're moving it back a day, people would go talk to your superiors and he just moved our due date back, and that's not okay. But if I move it 3 days ahead, you're like, that's cool. We're cool with that. That's fine. So that's what I was going to say about the essays. I think I've already said the grading I anticipate being done with basically everybody, I think, around Saturday around 3 or 4. But that's not a guarantee. No more guarantees. There's a reasonable expectation. Any questions about the essays or anything that I've talked about so far before I move on? Questions are good. Oh, this is something I've forgotten to mention in every class, but the quiz is going to be the same deal. I think I maybe no, I didn't have any errors. It's just I didn't really like the MLA examples that I had on the quiz previously, so I'm going to make some, I think, pretty significant changes to the quiz that's over the MLA lesson and the readings from this week, which is basically just the MLA stuff. So you're basically going to want to have your MLA writer's reference with you, and I might do a little longer on the quiz so that you can have more time to look at, because I might show you which one of these is the proper MLA example for, because I want to make it more closely match what I did on this PowerPoint this semester, like proper one for a book, which one of these looks proper for a website, which one of these looks proper for this. And so you'll have to look at each citation, compare it to what the book says, and then pick. So that's going to take a little extra time, I think. So I might give you an hour instead of just 30 minutes.
When are you going to do that?
That's going to be the quiz that's available this weekend. So then you'll give a nice, quiz that you've just taken. If you wanted to try to do MLA, you've just kind of been quizzed over it, so it'll be kind of fresh on your mind if you tried to get a resource for your cause-effect paper. Because my assumption is when everybody said, "Oh, thank heaven," it wasn't because you've already written the paper as a draft and you're planning on making some minor changes. It was tonight I was going to start that thing. Is generally how it goes. And so now you can I don't have to start that thing until Sunday, which means you'll probably take the quiz first, so your MLA will be in your head ahead of time, so that's going to be good. I think that's all the things that I had to cover before we move on. I'm sorry that you just saw me chew my tongue. What?
Did you take roll?
Yes, I took roll. I just don't have to call people's names anymore because I know everybody. Because you've all become original people in my head by now. Well, your originality's in question, but I can tell who's who, basically. Let's see. I want to talk about this first. I'm going to hook it up to the projector and show you what we're doing. And then I'll hand it out and everybody can actually do it. So, why did I put that back in there? I did not turn that thing off, did I? Okay, good. So, well, actually, we're not doing this yet, but let me pull up. I think this is what we're going to be working with once, and also, no, not the baby snip. Okay, so pay close attention because people have been doing this wrong because they've not been listening to what I've been saying. Can I make this look bigger? Is it like a...
I think you could zoom in.
It won't let me zoom in with fingers. Oh, yes, it will. It's just being slow. Okay, so what we have here is this will cover the entire back sheet of the paper that I hand you. As you can see here, it just covers the whole thing. It's in black and white. Sorry, I couldn't get the pretty colors. It's very PJC colors. So it has a range of times all the way from 7:30 to 11 on every day, Sunday through Saturday. What I want you to do is I want you to use this side of the sheet to mark down like where you are generally at a given time or what you're involved in. I'm not saying like where are you, like that kind of thing, but like if you're in class, like you're in college class, say like, oh, well, you come here at 8 on like Monday, Wednesdays, and you're here till 12:15 doing classes. So say like write college here and then draw an arrow that goes all the way down to there. Like it might look something like this. You might say like college. I don't know if you can actually do insert drawings on here, can you? Shapes, line. Yeah, you can. So you basically, this is what you'd write on your paper. You'd write college and then have an arrow that goes all the way down through when you're going to classes. And then after that, if you're free, you just leave it blank. Now, if you start work at 3, you would be like work, and then you'd also draw a little line, through how long you work. And you might work till like 9 p.m. at night that particular day. So you're going to put right here. And then if you want, just because nobody wants, I have the times of 9 to 11 on here. But only because that's what fit on the sheet. Not because I think people should be meeting from 9 to 11 at night with their groups. So if you want to, just, scroll that further down all the way to 11 and say, yeah, basically work occupies me all this time. So that you can see there's a little bit of free time here. And kind of do that with your whole week. So if it's like you got college, you got work, heck, on Sunday you want to put church, or you just want to say busy if you don't want to tell people you go to church. Or, really, it's just, I think it should just be me who knows this, but I guess people would know eventually when they end up in a group what those people's schedules are, so somebody will end up seeing this. If you have a thing you do on Friday night you don't want people to know, but you just want to put busy, you just put busy. Like I go to Dallas and there's this thing I'm a part of, and I just don't want to say what it is, and that's fine. So, if you want to, I've had some people just writing in right here. They're like, yeah, I have a break between classes, but they're like, lunch. Like, that's what? Why is it white? Ugh, white font is ugly. So, you want to write lunch there in the lunch hour, just write lunch. If you have a preferred time you'd like to end up eventually doing your class meeting, I actually want you to highlight that. And I'm talking like with a highlighter. If you don't have a highlighter, I'd like you to like draw a darker box around the area. So essentially like either do something like this if you've got a highlighter. If you don't have a highlighter, I'd like you to do something along these lines. Thick outside, that's not thick outside borders. That's bullcrap is what that is.
I can share my highlighter.
Line style, more borders. I'm talking thick. That is not thick. Not the color. How thick is this? It's still on for some reason. Where do I do like the thickness of it? Guys.
Click all of them and go to the borders.
I did border. It doesn't give me a thickness.
Wow.
Ah! Well, oh well. Okay, so I can't show you, but I'm essentially talking about basically doing.
Go to home.
I'm talking about doing essentially this.
Yeah, go home. Go back to the home.
No. Ah! Yeah, see, like big old line block thing, but I want the shape to have no fill. Let's make it no fill. There we go. See, so I've got like this box that I've drawn around like this area where I prefer, like a dark thickened like box area to show that that's where I would prefer to meet, even though I have other free time. This is where I'd like to do it because it's right after I get out of school and I'm going to go to work after that. So I mean, it's like I'm already in town anyway, so why not? So that's what I'd prefer, the way you kind of approach it. And even though you do like college, maybe let's say you do college Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and it always lasts from here to here, don't try to draw some arrow that goes off this direction saying, oh, it's all the same. Like literally on every day, write college, arrow, college, arrow, college, arrow, if that's what you do. And don't just be like, don't just write ditto, ditto, ditto. Because I'm not, when I'm looking at this, I'm not going to know what ditto is, and I'm trying to look real fast through sheets. So that's kind of how I want you to, approach it. Woo. Oh, did that make it literally bigger? Because I don't want it to be literally bigger. I just want it to look bigger. Okay, so that's that side of the sheet, and that's what I'd like you to do. Don't save. With this side of the sheet, it's going to be asking you a bunch of different information. I have, reasons for that information. It's going to ask you for your name at the top, so I really want your name at the top, and the name in this box, you can be a little bit less legible with it, but I still would like it in the box too, because I'm going to be flipping through sheets and need all this information in the box. Here, when I say preferred email address, that I mean specifically for the other students in your group will see that email address. And I had a student mention this morning in another class, they said, listen, I can put an email, excuse me, that was gross. I can put an email on the sheet, but I don't check my email. So that's not going to be a way they can contact me. I'm not restricting you from communicating with the other people in your group however y'all want to communicate. So if y'all exchange phone numbers, that's on y'all. I just don't want to have it on this sheet where I said, put your phone number down, and they're like, well, Nichols was the one who asked them to put their phone numbers down, and then when somebody started stalking somebody, that was on him. Okay, so that's not going to be on me. It's going to be on you for giving out your phone number. So make that decision carefully if you trust these people enough to give their phone numbers. Email address, you can always just make a new email address or make a fake, I don't know. But what?
If they have our number and want to stalk us, we can block them, can't we?
Yeah, you can. Although if they use that phone number to look you up on Facebook and find out where you live, because people share everything these days, right? Everybody have their phone number on their Facebook?
Yeah.
God, that's reckless. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw shade. Let's see. City of residence, that's where I want you to put where you reside, where you live. Not the town. Maybe if you say like, well, I spend most of my time somewhere else and I only go home on the weekends, well, that's a little different. Like if you're staying wherever you're mostly staying, that's what I want to know. That way, if I'm grouping people up, I go, oh, well, I like put these people together because they have the same, basically the same information. But this person lives in like literally Dallas, and this person lives like in Greenville, so they'd have to find a difficult way to meet in that case, and we'll have to see. Major, I'd like you to put like what your major is. By the way, if your major is currently general studies, I'd suggest you really start thinking about what you want to do, because I think there's going to be at some point, okay, this is not for 100% sure, but I think at some point the state has talked about not giving people financial aid for classes that aren't part of a degree plan that's an actual degree plan. So they don't want people doing general studies anymore. The reason is because there's research that shows that the people who drop out of college the most and don't finish and basically waste the taxpayers' money are people who had general studies listed as a major. It's because like you go and you're like, I don't really know what I want to do, and then not knowing what you want to do, eventually you just stop taking classes because you don't really know what direction you want to go. So they want you to eventually pick a direction. So start thinking about that now, and try to come up with something. If you don't have a declared major, just put the major with the major you think you want to do. But make it something real. Don't be like, food eating. That's the major I want. Shoot, that's the major I want. But they don't offer that, or I'd be at Chipotle all the time getting credits. That was fun. I liked that entire sentence, and nobody even appreciated it. Transportation. This is like, these are various examples. It's not the only options you have. So you might say something like, oh, I own a car, or I take a bus, or I own a bike. I walk everywhere. I've had some students put like, family shares car. Dad uses it for work. He works at random times. So I have car access, but not always. And that, just tell me whatever transportation information I would need to know for people who are going to be grouped up together. Because I'd like at least one person who's in the group to be able to drive somewhere. If I got 3 people who walk and they're all in the same group and they work all the time, how are they going to all walk to meet? And it's going to be difficult. With kids number, dependents number, like I'm just like, if there's people who rely on you, like, kids, some kind of dependent, I'd like to know that. That way I know how flexible your schedule can be. Because you may be in a situation where like, I can't be flexible because I have somebody relying on me every time I leave this room. This is like this is my break. School is my break. And when I leave the room, then I'm working. This is your positive personality traits that you think you bring to the group project. So, whether you think you're lighthearted, you have a sense of humor, you're hardworking, those kinds of things, or problematic personality traits for a group project, like I tend to take over, controlling, generally angry. I had one student put, I don't like any other people ever. And so for that particular student, I'm going to probably need to put them with somebody who's like lighthearted, understanding, something like that. So put your positive personality traits and the ones that you think are negative. And if there's any other important information that's needed for grouping that doesn't fall into one of these categories, like you think there's something that I need to know that's going to help me group you better, or be more understanding of a restriction that I didn't put on here, let me know what that is. And now I'm letting you do a max of 2 here, but preferred group members in this box. Now, very specifically, I want to say this because I've said this before in every other class, and still people aren't doing this correctly. I only want you to put people in these boxes that are also putting you in these boxes. So if you're writing a name down, don't be like, oh, I guess that person, I know their names, I'll write them down. Because if they're not writing you down, and I look at the sheet and I'm like, well, they didn't write you down, so this is confusing. Sorry. I need to see that person's name is on your sheet and your name is on their sheet as well. So that I can verify that you actually do want to be grouped up, and it's not like, wow, she's really attractive, let's hope for this. That's a bad reason to choose a group anyway. So it's got to be both people want it. I don't want people like getting into groups against their will. There's like, who? That's what the whole me choosing process is for. So if you prefer some people, write those down. And I'm sure we'll have plenty of that in here. I do have a max of 2. So if you have a group of 4 friends, and you all want to be in a group together, and you're like, how do we do this? Probably you don't. Probably the best option is to each of you choose a friend. So basically you turn your group of 4 into 2 groups of 2, and you make sure that you 2 are together. rather than have a group of 4 where 3 people say, we'll all be together and you be the odd one out. Because guess who's the lowest friend on the totem pole now? Somebody. I've got to turn this off. Just keep letting it go. Because has anybody watched Survivor in here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it start?
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm just so behind. I'm 12 episodes behind on Big Brother too. I haven't finished it either. But on Survivor, what always ends up happening near the end of the show is there's some sort of competition where you essentially you give somebody in your group like it's like, okay, what you do is like there's this coconut hacking challenge usually, where it's like 3 ropes and it's like you get a question right and you go and you hack somebody's rope with an axe. And people are always like, yeah, I'm going to hack the rope for this person. And everybody's like pounding on this person. They're like, well, I thought I was sort of like in everybody's good graces, yet I'm the first one they wanted to get rid of. That's really weird. And so now you realize, wait, I'm on the bottom of the totem pole. So if you're a group of 4 friends and all 3 of you are like, yeah, we'll just group up and then, you'll take the fall. And you're like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then you go home and you're like, wait a minute. I'm the outside friend. I'm the 4th wheel. Wait, 4th wheels are good. 4th wheels are fine. I'm the fourth corner of the triangle because those don't exist. And then you realize that. So it's just better to protect everybody's feelings by having 2 groups of 2. I think if you have a 4-person group that you'd like, that's the best you can do. So pick a bestie rather than try to pick 2 besties if that's going to be a problem. So. This availability section is just talking about the back of the sheet. Now, on your sheet, it's going to say, instead of for outside of class group meetings, it's going to say for volunteer assignments. That's just because the template that I picked, I forgot to change one thing before I printed it, so my bad. But you can scratch it out and write outside class group meetings if you want to. I think those are words. Now, special skills and qualifications. So stuff that you know that might help the group out. That's not personality related, like your skills. Like if you're pretty good and you're pretty good at Microsoft Word, you can check that one. PowerPoint, check it. Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Drive. Many of you may already have knowledge of the PJC research databases. That's right, put that. General computer usage and navigation. If you're just pretty good at computers in general, you could write that down. I don't know that we'd need it for this assignment, but video editing, if that's just something that you feel like you're good at and you wanted to be involved in, if there were a way, if you're like, hey, I could make a video and make that part of our thing, then that's fine if somebody wants to do that. If you think you're good at creating dank memes, if you know what that is, you know what it is. If you don't, you don't. But does anybody have teachers that include memes in presentations? Like PowerPoint presentation? I think Miss Elliott tries to do that, doesn't she? Do we have Miss Elliott? Does she include like memes, like pictures with text on them? Like funny images on PowerPoints? Well, then she lied to me. She is a bald-faced liar, and you can tell her I said it. But only if she doesn't include the memes. Also, and now this is just a joke. This is something that popped on the internet in like the last 2 weeks. Like snack dads. Have you ever heard that before? I follow this Reddit, like the Destiny subreddit.
I'm so glad you put it
It's the
on
person who brings food.
one thing.
Yeah, but it's basically like people were complaining when this new game came out. All they did was complain about how the things that it didn't have instead of saying that they enjoy it and they had like what it does right. And this one guy got really irate and started complaining about that and said, all you kids show up here every day and I thought I was going to see some cool pictures of a video game or videos of people fighting, and all I get is freaking people complaining to Bungie like, give me this, like it's your freaking snack dad, bringing you snacks. And we're like, snack dad? Like I was like, what is? I've never heard of that. But everybody like attached the phrase snack dad, like the only thing they even noticed he said. They got like 4,000 upvotes on Reddit. That never happens on a video game subreddit. And he's like, I had no idea this would take off. It's like somebody who brings you snacks. You say, Dad, and Dad comes and brings. What is it, son? Give me some freaking chicken fingers. All right, I'll get you some chicken fingers. Like that's not. So if you feel like you're that kind of person and you like to provide snacks, put snack dad, snack mom. You don't have to be an actual dad or a mom to provide snacks, but if you just love bringing cookies, that's a thing we'd like to know, right? Maybe I'll take the guy who's angry and hates everybody and put him with snack dad. He's like, well, I didn't know I hated everyone until I showed up and there were cookies. Now I love the world. I love everybody, especially cookie people. All right, so the next one is right here, and I will not answer this question further. It's draw a picture below, and it is required. Just draw a picture. And the question I always get is, of what? Just draw a picture. It is required, and there's a reason. I just can't tell you what it is, or it would negate the whole reason. You just draw a picture below. It's required. So, with that said, and with all that in place, I am going to. I think I'll do this next. Because I think we're going to have enough time at the end for me to do the other thing I want to do later. What? Take over Russia. Take over Russia?
Yes. It's like the largest country in the world. I went to the I want to die.
It was pretty good.
I'm sweating.
Well, I didn't say nuggets. I said fingers. And I'm like, what are chicken fingers? Like, I don't even know. Actually, I do remember, like, when you would eat in the cafeteria in school. Remember there was these, like, chicken sticks that give you, and there was no chicken in them. It was just, like, breading and, like, nasty, like, air-filled. Like when you get a bad French fry. I gave you all 5, so if y'all give one to adult. Yes. That's going to be difficult, but give me as close to accuracy as you can. I just had somebody ask if your schedule constantly changes, what do you do about that? Give me the stuff that you know is consistent, like class, and then just kind of be honest, like, this is difficult. Do keep in mind, I do still want preferred times. Like, tell me what your preference is if you have a preferred meeting time. And the meeting time would end up being, I don't know yet, it's going to be somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes. 30 is a bit long and 15 is too short. But it's going to be very light requirements. Remember that assignment that I mentioned that we might do for the group project where it's like you look for an article and look at its credibility? I think I might do that in the future, not actually in this class. I think I might have lighter requirements and like a survey y'all all fill out together as a group when y'all get together, just so I can examine how well the grouping went this semester. Wow, every class is so different. Y'all can feel welcome to talk to each other and work things out if y'all need to. Yes?
Are we going to be doing groups by cities, though, or how that going to work?
I'm going to try to look at people's preferred times first. And then if people want to meet, like, for example, all the people who want to meet here on campus, like, after their classes are over, I'll try to group those people up first. Actually, first I'll do people who prefer to be together. Then I'll do people who have the same time that's on this campus that they'd like to meet. And then after that, I'll start grouping like by things like city and major. So I'll just go progressively in that direction. Mm-hmm. Oh, sure. I did make a few extras for that very reason. Wait, that's not my name.
Well, I'm doing this.
Did you need this as a reference to look at? Yes.
I live on a ranch, and
The only thing
I help my dad work it. So my schedule is drop everything when I need to.
Let's say if you had 30.
So your schedule is what? I missed this last one.
Drop everything when I need you to.
Is what he says to you.
Pretty much.
Okay. Hopefully then your group would be able to, in advance, work out when y'all are going to do the meeting so that he would say, hey, Dad, I have this meeting on this one day that's set, and I can't miss it. But other than that, I'm free. Because, I mean, he doesn't usually ask you to drop your class to come, right? So he can maybe consider that, hopefully. But you could just leave it all open if it's like a time that you could meet, but have like a preferred time that you highlight so that I can tell what you think would work best, like maybe right after class or something. That way I can just determine like what would be the easiest thing that you think would work around what your dad might ask you to do.
Okay.
And I can even see, like, it looks like over here you have classes
Yeah, that's
always there. And that might actually be a good time then, like right after your classes or one of those particular days, like having that be like the highlighted time. That way you can just get it done while you're here and then move along. Assuming the other people will take classes at the same time. How many hours do you take?
16.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It looked like more than the normal amount.
I hope nobody gets that is more than normal. And I have that is more than normal.
No, I think that generally, anything, I think 15 is like considered like a full good load.
I'm sorry.
The 16 is like, means you're taking, wow, you taking 5 classes or?
5 classes.
But you have one of those like a science of the labs.
You go like
Now, what's the extra hour?
My art class is from
On one day or both? Is it 1 to 2:45? 1 to 3:45?
wow, must be nice.
How is that possible?
I don't know, but we sit in there and we don't talk and we just it's not fun.
Is it drawing or is that the class? Huh. That sounds really weird. I don't know how you can meet that often.
No.
Is that what it said when you signed up for the class? That was what it means?
For drawing one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're still.
That was in the newspaper, like a little newspaper thing, the schedule.
No, I went into the office and they said this is what's happening.
I don't understand how they can do that. And have the class be that long, give you 3 hours of time. I'll ask, I'm curious how that works. Because with the labs, they give you an extra, like, something. Like, normally. Or, I don't know, one time I took a film course in commerce, and it was, I think it was 3 hours, 2 days a week. But one of the days we learned, and one of the days we watched movies. Because it's like, it was before Netflix, so like we couldn't, like, we weren't gonna have access to like this movie from the 30s. We had to all just come and watch it together. And we were required to. As you have questions, ask me to come over and I'll try to answer them. Yes. Okay, that would be something to keep up with, like to just keep your group informed. Are you writing down the preferred group numbers? It might be good if you, like, once you get out of the class every day, I don't know if you have something to do immediately after class every day. Because it might be good to just list your preferred meeting times for like right in classes. Because that way.
Okay, what is your name?
Just kidding. Wow. And that changes every time I'm on the
I would say right would probably be the best time to write. We highlight the time right after the class. That way, you're already on campus. You can meet with somebody on campus. And that would be the most helpful thing. You have a schedule that can move all those things. You might put a box around right after class. But maybe do like an hour or so. Instead of just like doing a box, either like 3 boxes or 2 boxes. That way you can make sure that my standards are close enough where you could meet. That's what I was doing. Just put a couple of times after class. You're already in campus. Right. You can just write it. You can write documents. And if you know it's going to be random and it's always going to be happening, then you can just write a doctor's appointments and then put at the top doctor and then write your own for the whole day. But generally, you're headed to commerce around 1.
Personality for projects. I'm always hungry.
So I can get 9.
Yes? I know 2.5 minutes.
In the middle of the night.
Bro, that's like the best time.
Yeah, imagine it is nice out.
It's nice and cool out, that's why I do it.
So my suggestion is maybe if you want to, you say you're usually waiting for the connection bus?
Yeah.
Well, if they ever get here, they usually get here around 1.
When they get here.
Okay, wait, what is
They're not guaranteed, right?
I haven't done anything.
They're not
I think it's just like.
sometimes they can be here. Information at the third grouping. Sometimes they can be here at.
I literally have like 30 minutes. 30 minutes to do anything. Go out.
Well, try to like put a box around the times. That way, that's probably the best time. Do you get here at this time on your day, or do you usually
We're getting our nails. This is amazing.
I think Wednesday guys might get
Yeah.
So where's your pencil?
It's only on 2 days, but every other day I go to bed.
Okay, so this would get you here around that time.
Because I need to.
So yeah, I would be in probably the time right after class, unless there was a day you do.
No, because I don't like other
Probably
people.
right after class, that's when everybody's there, it'd be the best time for you to serve. For box, yeah.
I can see her in the she's because it's like 8 because Tuesday she has a class.
Yeah.
My favorite thing. I don't have to try. I have the perfect face.
Okay, I mean, you're welcome to then if you want to say, like, sometime, some days you could, you could be here at 8 and you think you're not going to do a group meeting during that time, you can highlight that and say, okay, I tried okay, or something, so I know.
This is perfect.
And but then highlight the
Wait, you
boxes
just put my
too, so I can see that's the time that you would be available to me. Do that.
You know for the next few months. So I'm drawing the best operator just for the next few months.
Okay, well, you could keep Wednesday, then don't put a box around Wednesday, but you could do like Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Put a box around that 12:30 time slot. And don't forget both sides.
Color in?
No, you don't have to. You just leave it as a box like that.
I'm just wondering if that's.
I don't think so. It looks like there's a time in the middle where you don't need it. If you want to highlight it,
Don't judge me because there's going to be some references.
I would intentionally avoid lazy. So I don't know.
Just think of the general personality traits that you have for dealing with people. Friends.
Murder.
Think about the personality traits that you have with that friend. And consider maybe from that perspective. Just in terms of like making it a little easier, I guess.
Would you can deal with people, but that doesn't mean I like people. I was on a ski.
Are there people who are already done with this whole thing?
I'm still drawing my picture.
I'm gonna come and take them one at a time, so I gotta check and make sure it looks like I need it. Go ahead and put Alexis at the very top there on that
I
part.
don't care about this. I'm just gonna comment that out.
So all the blanks are free time. Same with you? No like work or anything?
Does that look like a good so far? That looks really good. That's okay because it's art. All like everything on this art, like all of this.
No job. Free time?
I'm drawing
And
my
then y'all have
favorite.
like preference for
I'm drawing my favorite
Yellow
I'm
diamond.
probably gonna try to get people to meet here.
Who does draw?
Class. It's not my class, it's class.
Yellow diamond.
You
I got you. I gotta do my
but all of his parts are work at school.
Yeah, I know. I'm free Sunday, Friday.
That's yeah.
I drew my son first, so I don't know. Why are you trying to go?
We really need to get her done. Like we Hey, I drew a son too. Did you put a solid in? No, but I will. Okay, well, that's your fault. Like every other.
No, it's not.
No.
I need to put some color.
Oh, you have mine too.
I want the Are you gonna try?
So maybe like morning, maybe right after, not maybe really right after class, so much as it is.
I don't have class.
Class, John. Is this like a scheduled appointment that you have to college every day? Or
We
is it like time
literally,
together?
the only class that I have that I don't share with you is
So,
you've got history and I've got chemistry and I've got
after class one day, you could do the group meeting, and then you go there instead.
Yeah.
It is. Well, it's interesting though, because she has a university where like, she goes
I
at
go after
12,
school every day.
like literally you get out of this.
I get out of here.
But
I'm
it's
good
like-
for eating things. And
But it would.
I mean, this is not the second
So
thing.
you would usually more like go to the gym and then come back here.
What?
I don't know. Is that what you like?
No, I'd rather.
Yeah, but it's just something to consider.
Yellow diamond, yeah.
Why don't you write? That way I
Yellow
know.
diamond is my favorite.
Could like, maybe like just right up here, like could
Jim, she's like,
could push Jim after me
dabbing in the background.
or something.
So you want us to write? I almost just mixed the thoughts.
So every
Acid or travel?
Absolutely.
you're like, I can't wait to tell you about class.
Find something to do.
Yeah, it's very much
Everybody like, back up. I'm looking at them one at a time. So the box times for you, the table times.
Yeah, because I know how to draw.
Shut up. Goodness.
Now, when you put the highlighting, was that days you prefer not to, or you prefer that? I would prefer Sunday, Friday. Not after class.
Yeah.
After class is fine. Would it actually be better if you could meet after class maybe one day than it would be?
Yeah.
Go ahead and highlight. Yeah, highlight the empty space after the class.
all of my favorite.
Because I'll see that and I'll go, oh, he wants to meet on the weekend, and I'll just try to find a way to do it.
Yeah, yes.
You
Mine's
would.
gonna be like, I mean, if it's with like.
And so, you would prefer me on the weekend, or you mean like, okay, you're like, don't get that back.
I mean, I don't care.
And so, Brittany, you're free during those times, but the orange part's what you prefer.
Yeah, something like that.
You can always ask, because I'm just. Oh, this is interesting. Somebody else would have just. Wow. It's like if we put we prefer each other. Like I want to make sure there's even more insurance. We get shown me. And then in Julia's case, the big box areas are what you prefer?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm done.
And it's the same with Vegas. The box areas are also very.
So what?
Like your beams.
That's like basically. Is it like Tetris or something? It's not. Well, that helps.
I had
The only problem would be like working out like another person into that mix. It'd be like your schedule's matched up perfectly.
I almost licked it.
Huh?
Yeah, I know. I can feel the wind.
Oh god. I almost hit my face.
It
with
looks
your hand.
wrong.
Well, it does make getting
Stupid.
I had wondered like why y'all always.
Should have drawn what's my I should have drawn the proper cake face girl. The deck. Why? I don't know that.
So
Like have one girl for it.
all the blank places are.
I know exactly what I'm gonna add. Hashtag rip a con.
All the blank times are fine except Wednesday. And Wednesday. More than
Am I striped? Yeah, because you keep giving stripes.
highlighted is preferred, right?
Yes.
And looks like highlighted is preferred. So just the blanks with the text, right?
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you really care. There's no preference. You just the blank right after column is usually.
Just on Monday.
Yeah, just on what they got because they're
Yeah, but I mean, I'm really sorry.
Did bring you to the nail salon?
highlighted is preferred, correct? And then well, other times the highlighted is So the highlighted is preferred. This is okay. So like I prefer hitting and everything. Okay. All the blanks are okay.
I'm never free.
And so
I'm done. Look at my drawing.
I think I just thought that I grabbed the paper from my drawing and Dylan over here. I was like, how did that? So really there's just that. Oh wait, not a minute, no. So we get that blank between college possible and so we're doing the nada.
It's watch bandit operator on the video. Lame. You didn't even add like a face.
I am Chastity. I was the first of her days.
On my God,
No, she's first of her name. I'm pretty sure it would go by a last name. I don't know. It
I
might.
feel like it's like Mary, it's just like the last corner. I typed friend and it was a free
I'm sure you're probably correct. But otherwise, it could be
My
random.
brother, John Matthew. John Matthew.
Is it like a family?
Oh my god, really grow up on
Yeah, I just thought you were wired. I don't know. Maybe that's just a I don't know. Look at all.
I assume it's sort of family.
and I'm like, show me. Like, what's her name? Perfect.
I get to go once every 5. Wait, no, it's
Don't
been
worry,
10.
she
Once every 10.
That's good. I'm done. I'll finish.
Really?
Yes.
You were.
I don't like saying I can't swim. I can't swim, but it's more like floating. It's more like survival. It's more like not die. I can get in water and not die. I feel like my We're more than being worked on. Okay.
Don't want to judge my picture.
Yeah. And now I want to say my favorite.
Okay, but what's your name? What do you make? Like a type of
I'm a shooter. I haven't really played this game. Ah!
Such a fun day.
I like the preferred time. The boxes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I have no preferred time. I just have time when I'm saying
Hey, who is really far away?
Austin, preferred time, but really preferred is where it says after.
Not anymore, I'm at tomorrow.
Oh, that's close.
Why is this?
Okay.
In Tyler's case, it looks like the brackets when you can't.
Tyler has no life, so the only thing Tyler has is school. And my Rainbow Six Siege, that's why there's Rainbow Six Siege being there.
She has a heavy.
I have no life.
So really Thursday has your name preferred. Thursday afternoon also.
Well, you're gonna have a back. Okay. So I'm gonna steal it from Madison. Yeah, I know. That's
They
why
are
I'm
not
stealing
selling
it.
for guys. Only have two simple straps.
I kind of want to go.
Because for girls, you're selling a lot more of those, like with just the two straps that hold on. So those are the most comfortable. Like the sandals, the only ones I'll wear. But I basically wear like old boy bird socks, but like a cheaper version, like a Walmart version. Actually, Crocs are okay, and I'm only saying that because I did see somebody was wearing Crocs at some point on campus recently. I don't know who, but I want to make them feel bad. Enjoy your Crocs. Who else has one that's ready? If you're still working on it, that's fine. But if anybody's got one that's ready, I'll take it.
Sure, I said you.
Okay. How many are left out there? Madison, I think you have yours. Does anybody else have theirs? Still trying to work that out. Are you done with it now?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like done-ish. Like you're writing down times, but it's like it could be any other issue. Oh yeah, I forgot on the actual this form. I forgot that I did not actually put snack dad because I was actually really worried that if it was on this form, people would be like, "What is that?" And then somebody would add it to like Urban Dictionary as some terrible thing. But I did confirm. I went to Urban Dictionary and snack dad is on there only by the Destiny reference. And it's not. No, I'm not your manager. I'm a teacher. Very easy. I hear voices. A lot of video game references in this stuff. I love that. I'm like, it's great. It's fun. So I have that here. There are a couple of other things I want to talk about with the requirements of this group project. So let's direct our attention up here. There were some things I came up with. I mean, don't read this yet, but I'm going to pull it up. So I think at this point, because we're about to have SA3 be assigned next Tuesday, right? So that'll be a whole new essay. It's going to have research involved with it. Additionally, the annotated bibliography will, and the research paper will. So you'll have a lot of stuff that you can be working on at an individual level like here, very soon, and it's going to get harder and harder. So with that original assignment that I had said, which was, well, I think I've got it up here, where it's like, pick a source, everybody picks a source, and it's maybe credible. I think because this is basically the semester, I'm trying to work out how to best create groups and get groups going and make them have one meeting out of class. I don't think I'm going to have you do this, because that's going to be kind of hard for everybody's kind of like do a research thing and then get a thing. So what I've had some suggestion from students was, in fact, I don't even think I wrote this down. I started writing other things, like maybe a survey with a number of questions about group dynamics and basic items, and some fun stuff like team mascot, team name, team colors. Do we need a team slogan? Yeah, sure, why not? So I want to have some fun stuff that would kind of help the group kind of connect. It's going to be unfortunate, though, if I have some groups where like people want to be, like you picked a preferred partner and I threw another person in, and then they're like, I really have this, I really love like, the mythological creature Pegasus. I think that should be we both like bulls. Oh. Okay, I guess that's what's going to happen, because that would be sad. But I recognize it might happen. But if that does happen, then basically what I think I'm going to do is this. Some students had some suggestions of things I didn't know. But one student I had, Christian, he suggested, because I had said I really want to make sure that people, when they show up for their group meeting, because I'm going to have y'all report 2 things. Here, I might as well say that. Will want group to report when meeting is exactly and where meeting will take place.
Do we need to write all these?
No, I'm gonna tell y'all when it's relevant. So basically, I'm having you tell me exactly when you meet and where, so that I can establish, as part of the question and answer thing that I'm going to give you, were all people able to meet at this time, and were they able to meet in a location? Were there any problems, issues with it? So I'm basically getting information about the groups and how it was able to meet on the little survey that I have you take. I've also figured out, though, that while there are some people out there who would love to just do everything for the group, sometimes people hate that person. So I thought one of the most unnerving things, and this is what I used to do as a student, that's why I know it's unnerving, is I would basically do the whole project on my own and show up at the first group meeting with it and be like, hey, look, I kind of just did this whole thing, if y'all want to just go with that. And when somebody says, hey, I've already done the whole thing, you might be irritated, son of a, did the whole thing. The nerve of that guy, the ego. I mean, what if he did this wrong? And you're like, do you want to use mine? Yes, I do. It's already done. Jerk. What am I supposed to do? Say, no, I'll just go do my own project. I can't do that. I'll look like a jerk. And I knew that they would feel that way. That's why I showed up with a fully completed project. Now, we got an A on it, but still they were pissed off. It was funny. So I wanted to keep that from happening to people like y'all. So I thought maybe if I make it where there are aspects of the assignment you don't even know until you show up for the group meeting. And I was like, how do I make that happen? And I thought, what if somehow you can't even see the quiz until you've proven that you're in a location at a particular time. GPS unlock code pieces was what Christian came up with. And I was like, well, really cool. I don't even know if that's a thing. I don't even know if that's possible. I'm sure it is. I mean, because Pokemon Go did it, right? Where hey, there's a Snorlax over here, and I got to be right there to get it. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. There is an app called Pokemon Go, and you would walk around the world and you would catch Pokemon, and they were only in certain places, and you had to physically go there. Yeah.
Grandpa literally stopped in the middle of the highway just to get there.
Gotta catch it. Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all. It was like everybody was addicted to it for like 2 weeks. Now, I realized that GPS code unlock pieces might not work so much, but I did have an idea that I could. Somebody said, well, you can password protect quizzes on Blackboard, which I didn't know. Did y'all have some teachers who do that? So I thought about, no. Well, apparently you can. Somebody knew about it. So I could password protect a quiz, maybe like make the quiz a short answer quiz where I'm asking you all those survey questions. And each of you have to show up with your piece of the password that I've emailed all of you individually. Like you only have like a piece of it. And I say like your piece 1, your piece 2, your piece 3, piece 4. And I'll just put it all together and it makes a password. And it'd probably just be words. So it'd be like somebody shows up, like, what do you got? Banana? Like, what do you got? I got monkey. Like, I don't know. We're like, what do you got? I got pen. What do you got? I got pineapple. What do you got? I got apple. And I've got pen. Pen, pineapple, apple, pen. How fun. I found that video to be, while annoying, also slightly delightful, and I can't figure out why. I was just like, this is ridiculous. Why am I watching it? But I couldn't stop. So I could make it where everybody shows up with a piece of the password, and you literally can't do it unless everybody's like, y'all just want to email the password to that person? Yeah. I don't do that. I'll know. No, I won't. I don't. Maybe when you do I wonder if you do a Blackboard quiz on your phone, like if it tells where the person was, if that's part of the tracking data.
That's freaky.
Oh, you want to hear freaky? Is anybody? Well, that's a rude question to ask. I think. Think about whether or not you have the app Tinder. Okay, just think about that in your head. Okay. All right. Consider that. Do I have Tinder? Yes, I do. Or no, I don't. I don't need to worry about this. Tinder is an app where you get on the app and you're like, I have a profile, and you're like, oh, this person's attractive, and I think I would like to make a relationship with them. Swipe left, is that right? Is that what you do? You swipe left for do you like them, or you swipe right if you like them?
Swipe right.
Swipe. I think I said swipe left, but I literally moved my finger to the right, which is weird. So you swipe right if you like them, and you left if you're like, mm-mm. And if y'all both happen to swipe on each other, because it chooses people from your area, then it lets you message each other, and you can then decide if you'd like to meet. Now, I think it's got the reputation for just being like basically a hookup app where people aren't trying to get in relationships; they're just trying to take care of various human needs. But the app itself, I think, is really meant to be a dating app where you strike a relationship and you get moving with that. But somebody in Britain, they basically have something like we have here in America, like the Freedom of Information Act, where you can request documents, not just from the government, but I think businesses, they have to give you like any data they collect on you. And this person like got a lawyer together and everything, and they requested that Tinder send them all their data on them. And without even having to use a lawyer, Tinder just sent them in the mail 800 pages of data that they had on that one person. It showed like when they closed the Tinder app and then went to Facebook, or like linked to Facebook within the Tinder app, everything they liked from that point on, like, got reported to like Tinder. Every conversation they had with somebody where they sounded desperate and they were trying to like, you know, meet, like it was on there. Like ads they spent time looking at, links that they clicked, like basically everything they'd done, even remotely related to the Tinder app, or like within a few clicks of it, like got gathered and collected. So if that's possible, I'm sure there's got to be a way to GPS lock a quiz, right? It sounded like I was going nowhere, didn't it? But it actually had a purpose.
But it was interesting.
Really, was it? Well, I think the Tinder part was interesting. How does this work? How do I download this? Where is this at? No, let's see. So we might do the password thing where I have pieces with a password, people show up, and if I could figure out a GPS thing, it'd be amazing. And I might email people the day of. Does anybody know on Google Gmail? This is one thing nobody in the other class knew. On Gmail, is it possible to set up on Gmail, you write an email, but you tell it not to send until a particular time?
Yeah.
You can do that? Because I know if I do that on PJC, I can't do that, my PJC email. But generally, I think that y'all's Dragon Mail addresses are actually faster than our teacher email addresses, because ours are related to our web-based email domain. y'all's are linked to Gmail, and Gmail's lightning quick. Like Gmail comes within like a minute of having sent it, usually within seconds. So I might like, set up the whole Gmail account where all it's doing is like emailing people emails at certain times. So like you all have to show up at the spot with your devices to get the pieces of the code to then enter the password to then get into the thing you're supposed to do. It almost sounds like a game, doesn't it? It sounds kind of fun. And I toyed with the idea that I can't do this because I don't know if people all have transportation or willing to use it. Like I just like fun idea where like you show up and like depending on where you said you do the group meeting, I've got like a scavenger hunt set up where you're like, holy, what am I gonna do? Find the thesis. It was fun, and then I said thesis. You all went, oh, that's not fun at all. I don't want to find the thesis. I got like a huge poster like of a thesis somewhere then. But yeah, that'd be fun if I could get it to only send and be there at that exact time when the meeting is. Can you make emails self-destruct? No, you can't. It's not like Mission Impossible. So I said I don't want to give out the assignment ahead of time because then one student will just do the whole thing themselves. That's what people do. Google Calendar edited by people. Oh, I was saying maybe the groups could there'd be like a public Google Calendar where all the groups could put their meeting time on there so I could just see it. And that way, you'd know as well, like if you plan on meeting at the couches in here in the little glass vestibule area at a certain time, you're like, okay, let's do our group meeting. And you're like, oh, crap, somebody's already called the couches. We'll go downstairs. We'll be in like the big area or something. Are there any other things that you think would make that process? Because I'll come up with a survey on my own of like questions that I want to ask about the groups and how it was working and how it went. I guess I need to have some option in place if one person doesn't show. How in the world do you get into that quiz? Have to be some sort of way of doing that. You'd have to like ask me like in that moment and be like, Nichols, we need this like now. And I could just be prepared at all those group meeting times. Like, okay, here we go. I got to be ready. They might email me and say I need the password code because so-and-so didn't show up. And I just...
Baby will be here.
What? My baby would be here?
No, you'll be doing family things.
My guess is most people in some fashion put their preferred meeting time was right after some class at this campus.
Sure.
So that they can get this meeting out of the way before they even leave the dadgum campus and not have to like meet at freaking Chick-fil-A in Royce City. They don't even have that, do they? And I was like, dadgum, I'm from Commerce. I don't need to go to Royce City for Chick-fil-A. And you show up. There's not even a Chick-fil-A here. So pissed. So I mean, I guess that's all we're going to be talking about today is kind of hashing out the more group stuff, and then I'll work on putting the groups together, and I'll tell y'all who your groups are over the course of the next couple weeks. You have a great weekend. Remember, not till Sunday do you have to do the essay, okay? Or no, I'm saying not till Sunday do you have to turn it in. You're, of course, going to work on it all weekend.
I got 99.